Hi, Ruben. I hope I'm audible and you can see my screen as well. Good evening to
We,
everyone.
we can. Thank you very much.
All right. So, if you allow me, I can start the class. Yeah.
Perfect. It's all yours.
Thank you so much, Ruben, for the generous introduction. And good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are, like whatever geography of the world. Let's start this robotics masterclass. As Ruben said, we'll be having some time for question and answer. So I would suggest you to have a hold of your questions, and I'll be answering them in a bit, right, once we are done with all those the knowledge sharing things which I'm going to start. So I'm going to start this class by one news, right, which has been floating for a very long period of time, and this has been one of the point of worry, right, where it says artificial intelligence beats most complex game devised by humans. And this news actually created a lot of questions in the mind of many people, right? And the reason why people were start thinking about this, because artificial intelligence and robotics are being considered as one thing. Okay. So people are not able to distinguish between the artificial intelligence and robotics. And once we so the first myth which I wanted to bust is that robotics and artificial intelligence are two different things altogether. So don't worry about that, right? So what we are going to do is, right, we are going to understand the evolution of robotics. We want to talk about like what you might have seen in the movies, what like you have seen the inspiration from movies, and you might have got some idea about what robotics is. Let's pick up each and everything and then start understanding those things. Okay. So the history of robots is pretty old, right? And this word has been came into existence around in 1921, where and mind it, at in 1921 we did not have robots, right? And these robots actually came from a Czech word for forced labor. And these robots were more in the spirit, right? They were not in the physical existence. So first time this robot world has been used in 1921, and since then people are speculating multiple thing about the robots. And if you just talk about the definition of robotics, not the robots, robotics is, it's a branch of engineering that involves the conception, design, manufacture, and operation of robots. This field overlap with electronics, computer science, artificial intelligence, mechatronics, nanotechnology, and bioengineering, which means that it's not it's not the one thing, it's a combination of multiple things. It's a branch of engineering which is involved in making some machines which are intelligent. Now there is again a concept, right? What is intelligent, right? What do you call intelligent, right? So we'll talk about that particular part as well, right? What is an intelligent thing? But as of now we need to understand that we robotics is the branch of engineering which is involved in creating machines or the devices which are intelligent, right? And it uses multiple factors like electronics, computer science, artificial intelligence, and mechanical and electronic device combined together, nanotechnology and bioengineering, right? Now, what is robots? So I'll read out the definition and then I'll just give you some idea, right? So robots are defined as man-made mechanical device whose motion must be modeled, planed, sensed, actuated, and controlled, whose motion behavior can be influenced by programming. Now just think about a device, right, which has got some sensors, some actuators. It has got some controllers, and there is a small machinery device which has got which is receiving signals from a human somewhere, and then that human is actually controlling that machine, and it is actually performing the task according to what human is looking for. But over a period of time these definitions keeps on changing, right? So definition is pretty simple, that I want a mechanical device which can be modified as per the human needs. For example, if I want to I want my machine to perform a certain task, my machine will go to that location and start doing a particular task for me, right? Now there are different definitions which is coming out. So ISO, which is the International Organization for Standardization, it's actually defining the robots as automated, controlled, reprogrammable, multi-purpose manipulator, programmable in 3 or more axes, which can be either fixed in place or mobile for use in industry automation application. Now there is a minute difference between the previous definition and this definition. It is called automatically controlled, reprogrammable, which means that if I'm designing one machine to do a certain task, right? Nowadays we have got the robots which are meant for a certain task, right? So, right, for example, if I want a I want a robot which can talk to me, it will just only talk to me, it cannot do anything else. However, if I want to make a robot which can act as a customer care for me, I have to reprogram that robot, right? So they want to create some machines which are reprogrammable, and it can be automatically controlled, which means they have their own sense, they have their own decision making capabilities, and on the basis of that we can say that either it is fixed or it's mobile. It can actually perform multiple tasks, and it can be reprogrammable, it can be used for multiple purposes, which is not the which is not the position which we have achieved so far in robotics as of now, right? So there are different kind of robots, like some you might have seen: industrial robots, domestic or household robots, medical robots, service robots, military robots, entertainment robots, space robots, and hobby and competition robots. There are n number of robots which are out there. I'm sure you might have heard about some robotics applications, somehow as well, right? But just think about this, right? What we want is, I want a robot to perform a certain task, and that's what is robotics is all about. Now there might be some people like who might be wondering, like, you know what, I have seen a robot. Let me just give you some idea, right? I have a robot which is a vacuum cleaner. It actually cleans up the floor in my house. Okay. Now just think about two machines. The machine number one, which has got the all the functions of a vacuum cleaner, right? And this machine is able to clean up the room completely. For example, if I want to say, let me just draw this. So I have a room over here, and I have a machine, right? This is scenario number one, and I have a machine, and this machine keeps on actually roaming to multiple places. It just keeps on going here. It just keeps on doing that, right? Just keeps on moving to multiple places and keep on cleaning the floor, right? This is a simple machine, right? Which is a simple vacuum cleaner, right? And I have a scenario which is scenario number two. And the scenario number two is that I have a space, I have a machine, right? And this machine is again a vacuum cleaner. This is again a vacuum cleaner, and it just goes to it finds out that somebody has spilled some dust, right? It goes to that location, right? And start sucking those dust, and once the floor is clean, it will just move itself aside to one place. It will park itself to one corner. When somebody actually done some mistake, by mistake some dust is here, it actually goes to this direction, identify the right path, goes to this direction, cleans up the whole thing from here, and you know corner itself by its own. Now you must be able to see the difference over here, right? Now in this situation number A, right? Situation number A, I have a robot which just keeps on wasting energy, whether the floor is clean or not. It just keeps on sucking everywhere, whether there is dust or not. And in situation number B, I have a robot which is actually going to the location, identifying the best path to reach at that place, identifying whether the dust is being cleaned or not. If it is clean, then it will stop the suction process and corner itself, right? So that it cannot be acting as a hindrance. So I hope you understand there are two different scenarios. One is a simple machine, and the other one is intelligent machine, right? Now who is providing that intelligence to this machine, right? What is that intelligent thing in this machine, and what makes this machine much more intelligent? We are going to talk about that, right? I hope it is clear, right? You are able to understand what I'm trying to talk about. So this robotics is basically a combination of multiple things. For example, we have physics, right? We have to apply the logics of physics. We have to apply the logics of mathematics. We have to apply the logic of robotics and multiple things, right? Like electrical engineering, electronics engineering. We need to talk about multiple aspects of computer science and mechanical engineering. And once we combine that all together, we get robotics as a subject. So this robotics is nothing but the combination of um, multiple streams, right, which has been picked up from multiple subjects. So it's not one thing all in all. So every robot is a machine, but not every machine is a robot. Robots are the machine that possess certain level of intelligence, but machine itself has got no intelligence, right? This is what we have understood from the previous thing, right? And there is a specific difference between robotics and artificial intelligence. If you look for the robotics is an simultaneous application of physics, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and all those kind of stuff. And on the right hand side, we have got the artificial intelligence. And if you look closely, there is a intersection between robotics and artificial intelligence, where we can call it as artificial intelligence robot, right? So I hope it is making clear that which area is nowadays we are deciding. So in robotics itself, we have some the definition of robotics is keep on changing. We want the smart robots. We do not want stupid robots which keeps on doing the similar kind of stuff, right? So we are actually going towards a place where we want machines which can perform the task by its own. And why we need those robots? Because human fall sick. We want our robots to do certain tasks which humans uh, are not doing it with ease. For example, there are some places where human cannot go, right? We can send the robots. We can go on extreme weather conditions where humans cannot go, or they feel very much tired going to that place. Maybe some weather conditions are extreme and they are not able to go over there. They are facing a lot of difficulties, and we can send robots over there, right? For example, like if the temperature is less than zero and then people are facing a lot of difficulties. If the temperature is going above 45 degrees and the people are facing a lot of difficulties. There are certain conditions where nowadays, like we have COVID-19 which is being spread, right? We can send robots to the places to distribute the medicines and the essential supplies. We can send the robots to places where there is no air, or the air components is very less, or like the weather conditions are not good enough. We can send them to an extreme um, you know um, in the like the depth of waters as well, right, where we want to find out certain things, but where human cannot go. I can always go to that location where humans cannot go. The second thing is that human feel tired, right? They get bored of their jobs. Machines don't. They don't get bored of their jobs. They don't complain. They just follow the rules. Human do not follow the rules, and machines actually follow the rules. They're supposed to follow the rules. So there are multiple factors why we want to use robotics and artificial intelligence. We want to have smarter machines which can actually combine the robotics and artificial intelligence together and actually can do the wonders, right? So and I'm sure like you might have seen a lot of applications of robotics nowadays, right? We'll talk about that in a couple of things, right? So I just wanted to give you the pinch of what is artificial intelligence, and I'll just read out the definition. According to the father of artificial intelligence, John McCarthy, the science of engineering of making the intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. Now, if you look for this definition specifically, it is actually indicating that AI is actually meant for machines. AI is actually meant for creating the high-end applications like robotics, right? So you want to make your machine intelligent. You always wanted to use intelligent computer programs wherein you feed the data and they start understanding multiple things from you, right? Now there are several other definitions which actually opens up the learning process, and it says AI is so first definition is artificial intelligence is a way of making um, a computer controlled robot or a software think intelligently in a similar manner the intelligent human think, right? So we want to have a pinch of artificial intelligence, and we wanted to combine that with the hardware part of robots, and we wanted to make sure that my machines start thinking this in a similar way the way humans are thinking, right? And artificial intelligence, if you broke down that word, artificial is something which is man-made, and intelligence which is being drawn from human. The word intelligence is very biased. We need to understand this fact. Why I'm telling that my machine needs to behave like human always? Because we as human are biased, machines are don't. Even this word artificial intelligence is actually biased, because right, for example, if I say that is an ant or a bird is intelligent, they are intelligent enough to spend their whole life to do the reproduction, to find out their food, to find the shelter, to create their nest. They are intelligent enough to do all those things which are required for their life, but we do not call them intelligent. However, if a bird, if a dog, if a cat, or if any animal start behaving like human, we start calling them intelligent. We start calling them intelligent because they are behaving like humans, right? And we consider humans as the most intelligent species. That's why we call them intelligent only when they start behaving like human. So if I wanted to pick up artificial intelligence, it's a way of making the robots intelligent enough so that they can behave as if a human is performing the task, right? So AI is accomplished by studying how human brain works and how human learn, decide, and work while trying to solve a problem, then using the outcomes of this study as a basis of developing intelligent software and systems. We wanted to create softwares, we wanted to create rules, we wanted to uh, create methods in such a way so that if I just make those if I put that artificial intelligence program into the machine, they will start behaving like human, they'll start solving the problems like human, they'll start learning like human, right? The way human learns. Now the types of artificial intelligence, and before I get into this topic, a lot of you might have asked this question, right? Will artificial intelligence take over our job? Will robotics will be able to perform the mostly jobs like which humans are doing? Will I'll be losing out my jobs to artificial intelligence? And I'm going to answer all of these questions, and this answer is actually not lying in the robotics classification. It is lying in the types of artificial intelligence, right? So before we proceed ahead, I want you to remember, right? You got the artificial intelligence idea actually, which has been transmitted from Transformers, which has been transmitted from Iron Man 3 or Avengers series. You actually got this idea from many movies, right? Many movies which has been released worldwide, and then you watch them, and then you see that the artificial intelligence is going to take over, and then they are wiping out the human species, and it's a great danger to the world, and so on and so forth. But the idea lies over here, right? There are three kind of artificial intelligence. One is called narrow intelligence, general intelligence, and the third one is super intelligence. And these intelligence are responsible to make the robotics smarter, right? So we are just talking about the brain of robotics. Okay. So artificial narrow intelligence is where we are teaching machines how to do the job, right? How to perform certain things, and they get better at certain things. For example, playing table tennis, right? Walking on the floor, right? Watching something and converting that information into numbers, right? Watching a number plate and converting them into numbers. The second kind of intelligence is called artificial general intelligence, and this general intelligence is actually is the intelligence where humans are performing the way that these machines are or robots are performing the task which very much like humans are performing, right? So they have got some generic intelligence, wherein they are flipping the pizzas, probably they are creating coffees for you, they're serving food in the restaurants, which are the generic tasks, right? Picking up some stuff and handing it over and doing the generic stuff, right? They are not, they, you do not call them intelligent enough, but for a machine these are general tasks, done general tasks which is being performed by a human. For example, as soon as it find out that you are present in a mall, they are giving you the best offers for you based on your choices, and so on and so forth. And then comes the artificial super intelligence, which you have seen in movies, right? Because are all about exaggeration of the technology. They always wanted to keep the end point, of the future in present. So super intelligence is where the art, like machines are outperforming human. They are doing the tasks which no human can perform. They are doing the task that we're creating. They are actually becoming self-aware, and they started. So in movies they show you they started killing humans, but I would see that part as that machines become aware of the surroundings, and they are actually outperforming humans and helping the humans out rather than killing them, because there is no point killing them. They do not have their self-interest. Machines do not have their self-interest as of now. So so the answer is, like, if would they be taking over your jobs? Yes, they will be taking over your jobs. But what kind of jobs? The jobs where you need to actually do the task without putting the brain into it. For example, you have to send, say, 100 mails every day to 100 clients. That job can be taken over by robots, right? If you're going from your home to office every day and you have to drive, that drive can be taken over by robots, right? They will take you from location A to location B without actually changing the path. There are certain tasks which are mundane, where you do not put in your intelligence, and you do it, right, without having a sense of what is being happening. That task can be taken over by robotics. If you want to write an email, and then emails, like 90% of emails have got similar kind of language, you can ask a robot to write that email for you. Probably that kind of intelligence I'm talking about. Now if you look for the artificial intelligence part, and this is a close interaction with robotics as well. So you have got machine learning, which is the brain of artificial intelligence, natural language processing, which will make robots to speak and understand what you're saying. Then speech recognition, where you say something and then they convert that into a text and respond to you. Then you have expert system, which can be actually used for automating this stuff. And you can do planning, scheduling, and optimization. Robotics and the vision, right? Vision is where you identify the image and start talking, start getting awareness of the systems. So if you combine machine learning, if you combine the hardware part, the natural language processing part, you get what? You get Siri, you get Cortana. And if you put in hardware part into it, you get a robotics, a small robot which can talk to you, right? And you call that Alexa, right? You call that Alexa, right? I'm sure everybody has seen Alexa, right? You have got a small robot which can actually talk to you, which can interact with you. It's a small robot which can actually talk to you, and that's his job. It cannot do anything else, right? So this is one thing, right? If you combine machine learning or artificial intelligence to the cameras and the hardware, you create a robot which can actually identify the things on the road. For example, it can identify traffic light, it can identify people, car, person, what is the status of a traffic light, and so on and so forth. So if you pick up that artificial intelligence, right, which is nothing but the machine learning, you pick up that part and combine it with your hardware part, you actually get this kind of thing, right? And many people have seen this, right? There are cameras nowadays which can actually read the number plate, and if you break the signal or something, or if you break the rules, traffic rules, they can send the note, like that penalty thing to your home. So these are the things which are going on, right? So nowadays you have got those robots which are actually monitoring the system 24/7, right? If there would be a human, they might not be able to see this stuff. They can identify whether there is a crisis on the road or not, how many cars are there, whether there is a traffic jam or not, or people are actually somebody is doing rash driving or not. They can actually monitor this stuff, and they can count those cars and can send the details to the relevant department. They can also nowadays, robotics applications are actually going the next level, wherein if you pick up certain stuff, they can tell you like what is the offer on a particular product. And if you pick up that particular product and put that into your tray, on your like this tray where you carry all those stuff, then it can actually identify that how much product you have actually kept into your basket, and they can calculate. And by the time you reach the counter, they can actually create the bills for you. These are the things which are going on nowadays. And I'm sure like you might have seen Sophia the robot, right? If you combine the actuators, sensors, natural language processing, machine learning, computer vision, you combine all those hardware parts, mechanical parts, and electronics part, combine that together, you get a robot, right, which is Sophia. And I'm sure everybody might have heard about those robots. And those robots are actually are able to talk to you. They are able to recognize you, and they can talk to you, and they can give you a senseful answer. So I'm sure some people might have seen this thing as well, right? So these are the very popular, and out of all the robotics things, I must say the humanoid, these are called humanoid robots, which are the most popular robots so far. Now if you see the application of robotics in different industries, not the way it's been portrayed. So there are several machines. There are like collaborative robots, which they are robotic paintings, welding, assembly, material removal, part transfer, and machine tending. These are all robots which are performing the task where you have zero human contact. They can do multiple stuff, and they can build the product in the assembly line and start working on it, right? So you can see that in this picture, right, there are like thousands of robots which are actually working together and creating a assembly line of the things which requires human intelligence, which actually required human intelligence in the past. Now in healthcare also, there are certain machines which are actually doing the job, difficult job, for which is being performed by human. Sometimes you have some kind of disease infection kind of thing, which can be spread in, and then these are the tasks which can be performed by the humanoid like robots. It's more of a robotic arm which can actually perform the task which a human can do. It can actually sense the thing and can perform that task, right? And then you have agriculture, right? In agriculture, there are a lot of applications which are going on, which is actually cleaning up, identifying the disease in
Sudanshu, are you there?
yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, we've lost you for a bit. Glad you're back.
Yeah, so I will just continue from the agriculture. I guess it was for a momentary
Perfect.
second. So
Thank you.
yeah, thanks. So in agriculture, there are a lot of advanced things which are happening. There are devices which can identify whether the crop is fine to go, right. You have to like you have to take care of the plants. Is there any kind of disease which is being happening in the device? And then once it is done, they can actually take out all the fruits and all the vegetables for you, and then make sure that they also can calculate the pH value of the soil, and they can do multiple stuff. So one person is good enough to perform those kind of tasks, and you can do a lot more things with those devices. So lot of things have been happening in agriculture front we are not aware of. We don't call this as robot because we are not aware that they are intelligent machines which can do the task by their own. This is another example which I am being very fascinated. This is nothing but, if you can see, there are two robots which are nothing but the robotic arms. These two arms behave as if a human is working on those things, basically a zero human thing. And if you just look at the on the left hand side of the image, there is a human which is trying to pick up a bottle and doing this stuff, and whatever this human is doing, the similar kind of task is being performed by these robotics arm, and they learn over a period of time what a human is doing, and they are performing the zero human contact, and they're performing the task, and they're creating pizzas and different kind of stuff for you, right? And over a period of time they become perfect to pick up the stuff and start working on it. So this is very fascinating for me, right? And a lot of things can be done through this, right? Social interactions is something which is very fascinating. So you might have seen some robots which are actually serving foods. In India we have some restaurants where the robots are serving foods, and they can actually take your orders, and after taking up their orders they can actually serve the food without human connection. So um, right now I'm sure, like in this like tough times for the world, where the humans are not supposed to touch even each other, right? We are following the social distancing rule because of COVID-19. The robots are very much helpful at this kind of thing, where they can do the deliveries, they can actually pass on the information and do the stuff. So social interaction is one where a lot of things are happening, and a lot of places the front desk people are being replaced by these machines. The most popular robots and the most scientific, I would say scientific fiction robot is humanoid, right? And whenever we like think of robots, we always think of a human like architecture which is actually doing this stuff for us, and is intelligent enough to do the task by their own, right? But yeah, there are different kind of robots, and even the humanoid robots they are more of a social robots, where they can talk to you but they cannot do certain stuff, right? They cannot do multiple stuff. But I guess we are working onto an era where um, if you buy one robot, it can do multiple stuff, right, over a period of time. So probably that day is not far. That day is, I would say, probably in 10 to 15 years we'll be able to see some robots where you purchase a general purpose robot, and then it can actually clean up the floor, wash your dishes, and do the watering your plants, and make sure that if somebody's on the door, it can open up the door for you, and then they can do multiple stuff. So we are not far away from that thing, right? So the future of robotics and artificial intelligence, I am always combining these two topics together, because artificial intelligence serves as a brain for robotics. Without this thing, there's no intelligence at all. So there are several reports, and the Forrester report says that robots will eliminate 6% of all jobs in US by 2021, which is huge, which is very, very huge. And this McKinsey assessment is also very expensive. It says they believe that 2030 one-third of American jobs could be automated, where the jobs are monotonous. For example, taking up orders, right? For example, writing up certain reports or creating certain stuff. These things will be automated, like cleaning up your floor, or like it's like washing your clothes even, for that matter, right? These jobs will be gone, and a lot of things will be automated by 2030, and that day is not very, very far, I would say. I mean, they are speculating by 2030. I'm speculating by 2025 or something like that, right? So there are social robots which will take over. So you will have right, always on the front desk there, you will always have a social robot which will talk to you, which can actually guide you for certain stuff, and a lot of tasks can be automated. They can resolve your query by just listening to it. Now imagine, right, for example, if I go to a bank and say, you know what, I'm looking for the bank statement, and I want that bank statement to be attested by a certain officer, or I'm looking for a personal loan. And then you're talking to this guy, and without even looking at this or this computer, she can process the information back in her head, because she is actually being controlled by a computer, right? She can say that you are eligible for $100,000 personal loan, and if you want, I can process that information. And then you say, yes, why not, please do that. And then she said, okay. And then would you like to give me your thumbs expressions, or retina scan or something? And then you say, yes, why not. And she will scan you, right, immediately. And then and voila, you got message on your mobile phone that your 100,000 is being credited to your account. So that kind of world we are actually heading towards, right? The most important factor in this social robot is they should look like human, right? So they if they look like human, probably it's better to, it's more of a human thing to deal with these kind of things, right? Robotic prosthetic is again one of the most amazing thing which I've seen, and I really appreciate those things because they can actually help people who have never picked up a thing, who have lost their arms or legs. They can actually use those prosthetics to live the normal human being life. And this is amazing because in a way they are actually helping the humans out. They are taking the senses from the brain of the human, and started to act. Like for example, if this guy wants to pick up a glass of water, the hands will actually pick up that signal from the mind and start picking up the glass of water for him. That is amazing because this is something which is magical, I would say. Robotic surgeries are with 100% precisions. They are actually going very far in the healthcare, and they are able to do the surgery with 90 up to like very high precision. I would say 99.99% accuracy. They can actually perform the surgeries nowadays, and it will just keep on increasing over a period of time. So now, right now they are able to do the basic surgeries, but in future they will be able to do the complex surgeries as well, right? In war, where we can actually lose human, we can send some devices which are capable of identifying a human and shoot on the right range whenever you see and these machines, like, they don't get tired, right? We can send them to adverse condition as well. These are various applications which has been created, and these are all robots which can actually do multiple tasks for you. Firefighting robots, which are very much responsible for identifying where exactly the fire the heat is more, and then they can sense the heat, and on the basis of that they can actually target their beam, water beam, or you can say water cannon, to that location, and can actually help in like resolving the problem. Will robots beat human? Yup, they will beat human and outperform certain tasks, but they will take over your jobs. I don't think so, because when the computer was in existence, people also said that computer will take over the jobs, and then they will be able to take over a lot of a lot of jobs for you. But it did not happen over a period of time. And what happened over a period of time is that computer created a lot of jobs. But I would say that these jobs will be translated. They will not be taking over your jobs. They will actually providing you much more jobs. It's just that these jobs will be translating into some more technical stuff, right? So you need to gear up for robotics stuff which is coming up in human, right? So yeah, they are helping us out. They are creating music. They are creating like hours of music. They are helping us in healthcare. They are guiding us in adverse conditions. So rather than scaring, like, you don't need to be like terrified with them. It's just that you think that they are your friends, and they can help you in multiple stuff, right? So they are like cleaning up your floor, right? And this is the most annoying task I ever know, right? They can actually clean up your floor and can help you out. So don't be scared with those things, right? All right, so we almost covered up everything. Ruben, you want to talk about, right? And I would like to take up your questions, guys. And like, how much time we have?
Also, we've got a few minutes left, so thank you so much for that informative presentation. I have to say, I'm very relieved that the robots aren't going to take over and come against us humans. Every movie I watched, that is what happens. So thanks for putting us all at ease there. Been watching some of the comments coming through. A lot of our participants really talking about, which you did touch on, the concepts of robotics versus AI. And the kind of confusion and the interconnectedness between those. I like how you said AI is the brain for robotics. So without that, without AI, there is no robotics. Is that correct to say?
Yes, correct. And yeah, please go on.
And sorry, and someone else wrote there, are they right in saying Alexa is a robot that uses AI?
Yeah, it uses artificial intelligence. So every intelligent robot is using artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence is not limited to the computers only. It can be actually combined with the actuators and sensors, and it can be used as a intelligent. They can behave as if it's an intelligent device, and they can be like a human thing, and then they will be like deployed in multiple spaces. So all these Sophia or like the devices which I've shown there, they are all using artificial intelligence, and we are heading towards that, right, where we have to use artificial intelligence to provide them the understanding of what is required.
Perfect. Thank you. A question that's come through is in terms of malfunctioning. How is malfunctioning dealt with in robotics? Obviously, there must be part of the process that you kind of iron that out, but because the ramifications of that would be huge, especially when we look at things like surgery robots and things like that.
Right. So see, I guess a robot will never um, uh, they will never they are heavily tested, right? First thing first, and whenever you create a rule that if something is not working, you have to stop, right? You should not be working together. There are rules which is being created for robots. For example, right, it's like a rule that, okay, if you're not doing the certain stuff, if the score is not up to a mark, then you have to stop, right? You should not be continuing further, and machines are bound by those rules. They cannot go beyond certain rules. So if you write those rules properly, then if they malfunction, they stop, they do not proceed further. So that is again you know a worry, or I would say attention, which has been created by movies,
Sure.
that the machines has been malfunctioning. And yeah, there's a certain machines, for example, if for example there is a machine which is like breaking up the stones and everything, and it just malfunction and just start breaking everything, that can happen with normal machines as well, right, which is not directly related with robotics thing, right? So in robotics you can say that if something is not going as specified, you can stop that machine, you can shut down that machine perfectly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you think higher education or universities can do now to bridge the gap of AI? There's obviously a massive gap. We're churning out qualifications. And like you say, the future is now, robotics is here. They're able to take on a lot of roles. What can education do, higher education do? But I think more specifically, education as a whole. How do we bridge this gap?
So I guess the awareness is one thing, right? So first thing first, like people have a fear, right? So whenever I go to deliver those lectures on robotics and artificial intelligence, people fear that, you know what, we do not want to study that, because if my organization know that we have an artificial intelligence capability, this is going to wipe out our jobs, which is not true, because it is going to translate your job into something else, something which is much more competitive than robots. So first thing first, we need to have awareness. This is one thing. Then the second thing is that we need to learn how to implement these artificial intelligence and automate the boring stuff, right? For example, like say my if I'm going, so in India, like it's very hot in some days. So if I can create my in an intelligent system which will cool down my car before I get into, so my car is on the road and it's just being heated, and like the temperature inside the car is going around 60-62 degrees centigrade, I can just cool down my car right before I get into the car, right? So if I can ask my artificial intelligence device to do that, so some boring stuff can be automated, I would say. And when you see this artificial intelligence as a technology that can help you build the stuff, that this terrified things, or I would say the terror of artificial intelligence will be gone, and I would say that start learning artificial intelligence rather than being terrified with that. So start learning statistics, start learning mathematics, probability, and machine learning, and that will give you enough confidence to deal with artificial intelligence.
Okay, perfect. Because that was going to be my next question. Where do we start? We understand it's here. We are fearful, but we want to embrace this change because we see we need to start working with it. So where do we start in terms of studying, upskilling ourselves? You mentioned a few things now, but please will you just go through that list again for our participants?
Yeah, so the early point to start with, like if you want to start with artificial intelligence, I guess the best part is that you start building your mathematics logic. So there are two parts. Like if you divide artificial like robotics into two parts, one is the robotics part and the second one is artificial intelligence. The robotics part is all about mechanical engineering, electronics engineering, combined processor, how to deal with the transistors, resistors, and everything, where you have actuators and sensors, and how would they work. And the brain part, this is like mechanical part. You have to be good at mechanical and electronics engineering sort of thing. And the second part is about mathematics. It's building logic. You have been having the programming language, like you have a thought and you want to like convert that thought into a programming language, and then you want to build that programming language with that mechanical parts to do a certain stuff. So you have to start learning statistics, machine learning, and then natural language processing is one of the aspect. The computer vision is one of the aspect. And if you combine that all together, you get a robotic system which is well functioned.
Thank you. This is so fascinating. I think our time has gone so quickly because there's so much to talk about, and I think we could keep talking about. But what I do want to just share with all our participants that have joined us today, that this forms part of we are going to run an introduction to robotics course. So when we're going to email you this recording of this masterclass, there will also be information for you on how you can sign up to join this course. If it sparked your interest like me, I want to know when I can get that cleaning robot and the robot that's going to cook my dinner. I cannot wait for that. Please have a look out for your emails. We will be sending you the recording. We will also be sending you information about our programs, particularly the introduction to robotics. As you have all participated in today's masterclass, you will also be eligible for a 20% early bird discount if you register before the 28th of April. So that's fantastic news. So please don't miss that. As well as have a look at the Regenesys website. We've got a lot of fascinating programs in the digital space that are really dealing with some of these issues, open enrollment programs, but we're also able to customize for your business or your department. I'd like to thank you again very much, Sudhanshu. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your evening with us and helping us to start think about these things in new ways. We really appreciate it. And thank you to all the participants who've joined us from all over. It's been a fantastic session. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. And hopefully we'll see you soon at our next masterclass, which is going to be on digital marketing. Do be aware of that and check our website for more information. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ruben. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Good night.